It is estimated that 67% of all American adults and 76% of all American kids 18 years or younger play video games. The gaming industry today is a $1 trillion industry with hundreds of studios putting out the best content that they can put out. It is a pastime for everybody around the world and provides this alternative reality in which people can go explore other worlds, especially in times of a pandemic like right now. Social interactions amongst global friends are provided through video games. The opportunity in gaming has changed from what it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, you may just be a developer and hope that people buy your games, right? But in today's world, you can actually produce content. You can get a full ride scholarship for being really good at the game. Opportunities like these are threatened by EngineOwning. EngineOwning is the beginning of a really dark time for first-person shooters. Now, the reality is that cheats have always been around, but people never knew if they were safe. You could download some cheat software, but it may infect your computer with a virus, and you'd never know what type of information you'd be giving the cheat company. Today, EngineOwning provides a brand name cheating software for major titles like Battlefield and Call of Duty that hundreds of thousands of people have looked into. On YouTube alone, it was searched 100,000 times last month, and YouTube being the second largest search engine, you can estimate that it was searched a lot more than that on Google. EngineOwning threatens the free-to-play model, and I used to sell personally the free-to-play model on my stream all the time. And the free-to-play model is that of like which Fortnite basically set out there. Make the game for free, put the game in the hands of hundreds of millions of people. And then if people want and enjoy the game, they can buy battle passes and they can buy cosmetics for the game, in which over time they will have spent or invested $60 into the game. And this isn't like a fluke. I'm telling you, I was a teacher before for a little while, for about 5 years, and I would talk to some of my students, and some of my students, the ones that were very privileged, had come in and tell me like their mom had spent over $500 on Fortnite skins. Now, that to me is just mind-boggling. But the beauty of the free-to-play model is that for the kids that cannot afford that or are not as privileged as the $500 Fortnite kid, they still get a free game to play with free unlocks that they will get through the battle pass. Now, it might not be all of the stuff that the privileged kid would get, but they still have a game in which they can play with their friends.
And then we go back to that providing social interactions between people online, positive that we were talking about before.
Now, the problem with that is games out there today are going to start continuing to put a $60 to $70 price tag on games, because that would force them to not nearly work as hard. If I ban one account and it's free to make another one, that same person is just going to come back. But like if I ban a $60 account and little Timmy needs to pay $60 for the game again, he might not end up being back. And so that argument goes that a paywall in video games is now going to probably be the way to go. And I used to argue that it wouldn't be that way, but here I am saying $60 games, $70 games might dodge a bullet to cheat software. For the people that go all the way back to Modern Warfare, World at War, Black Ops, Modern Warfare 2, those types of games, there was a certain pride sense in which when you were doing well that you would take. And when you weren't doing well, you would adapt. You would learn to study the opponent because you knew that the opponent was doing things that you needed to practice. And the morality in gaming today is kind of taking this dark turn where it's not player versus player skill anymore. And you're seeing all these online tournaments that are appearing and people, there's big money to be made in gaming on Twitch, or if it's YouTube or wherever it is, TikTok. But the morality in gaming is kind of going down because there's money to be made. There's opportunity to be had out there in video games. And so I think what you're starting to see is EngineOwning is starting to kind of really take that morality in gaming and just shrink it entirely. With all this opportunity out there for streamers and YouTubers and gaming and whatnot, you'll see that the company EngineOwning actually lends itself to its market audience as well, in saying, well, we can provide you ESP or a permanent radar in which you will be able to see where people are at all times, and you'll never be caught off guard. Maybe you're a good player and you have the aim to be successful, but now your awareness has just increased by tenfold because now you know where everybody is. Or if you're a really good shot, but you put silent aim on for your hip fire, and all of a sudden, you know, your hip fire becomes not so random anymore because every once in a while it'll look like you're shooting him in the chest, but the bullets will hit him in the head. It's getting harder and harder to detect for all of these companies like Call of Duty and Battlefield. Another issue with EngineOwning is an indirect issue in which I say, well, maybe EngineOwning doesn't make cheats for all of these other games like Valorant and whatnot, but they sure do make it more acceptable as a community standard. And so what I mean by that is, like, if people are realizing that EngineOwning isn't out there for certain games, they do know the brand name that is EngineOwning, then what they might do is they might reach out and go search up for some other reputable sources out there that will provide for different games. And so that's what I'm kind of saying is, like, it's really reducing the morality of gaming as a whole, because if it's not affecting it directly, it's affecting it indirectly. And that's a huge problem, because now we have the people out there that are searching for it, and it's popular and mainstream because of this company. We have to keep in mind that I've been talking a lot about it from the player standpoint, but cheat softwares do affect the corporations that do make the video games as well. If you are a single player developer, then you're off the hook. You don't have to really worry about it. But cheating is the bane of online multiplayer gaming, and developers should be paranoid. A lead designer at DICE, Lars Gustafsson, says, "We, as well as everyone else, gains on having a cheat-free product. There is no benefits to anybody except for the people that are looking to spoil the other people's experience." And we got to keep in mind that the entry level of multiplayer games nowadays is much higher than what it was before, because now when you're developing a game, you have to keep in mind that there are softwares out there like this that will day 2, day 3 have a software for your game, and they are ready to help people exploit. And so I sit here and I think to myself, well, why haven't these companies like EngineOwning or other cheat softwares out there been targeted by Activision and EA, these multi-billion-dollar developers? Why are they not eliminating this at the roots? And I think that the answer to that is that the basis of the actual software itself is from overseas, and there are international laws that protect businesses overseas. And I'm looking at the EngineOwning website right now at August 10th, 2021 at 12:40 in the afternoon, and I can see actually that they state that the Los Angeles part of the website is offline. However, the other 5 locations are online and fully functional, all 5 of those locations being overseas. And so I think it's a little bit more difficult to just eliminate at the root, because there are likely laws that are protecting these companies that you and I don't even know about. I'm not an international lawyer, and I have no idea how difficult it is. But playing devil's advocate, these companies make billions and billions and billions of dollars, and they have to know a guy, right? Like, there's a lawyer out there that knows how to get this done. So why are we not paying this guy or paying these anti-cheat softwares to take care of this? Because the FPS genre is at stake. Honestly, we sit here and the FPS genre, literally, like, there are game after game after game after game that's just being ridiculed by hackers. And I sit here and I think how toxic the player base is becoming, because people are not just in this get good mindset anymore. They are sitting here thinking, well, this guy's a cheater, this guy's a cheater, and it's so easy in today's world to just call cheater. And because of that, now we're kind of fueling the fire. Well, if this guy's better than me because he's cheating, I can go out and pay $30 a month or whatever the price tag is and go get the same exact thing. And now we have a big time issue. And this is the issue that I think that we're facing right now. It's what I call the hacker ratio. And the hacker ratio, for the sake of the understanding of the idea, I'm going to use rounded numbers here and numbers that are easy to work with. But let's say that we have a player base of 500,000 honest players that are playing our game. And to a lot of studios, that is the dream, right? We want
as many people playing our game as possible that are honest players. And let's say that we also have 1,000 people using cheat software. And now let's say that more people figure out about this cheat software, maybe through word of mouth or spread to their friends or whatnot. And now we have 5,000 players using the cheat software, whereas we have 500,000 honest players, and then we have 5,000 dishonest players. And we have this ratio of 100 players to 1, right? And then let's say, well, some of the honest players leave because they're sick of the hackers. And then let's say some of the people join the hacking side. They figure out, again, through word of mouth, this problem has not been dealt with. And they figure out through word of mouth that, hey, there's a software that I can use to kind of terrorize the gaming community that is this game that we're hypothesizing about. And so now we have, let's say that we have 50,000 people leave and we have another 5,000 people join the hacker team. And so now we have 10,000 hackers to 450,000 honest players. And right now we're at a ratio of 45 to 1. And now we're starting to get to where every 45th person has some sort of cheat software. Now we have a huge problem. And I just go on this idea of, well, then the honest players either leave or conform, and the hackers are not being dealt with. And so their numbers will slowly climb. And honest players will leave or conform, and the hackers will slowly climb. And maybe, just maybe, for the sake of hope, some people get bored. Some of the hackers get bored of the game and they either leave or they get sick of paying the monthly premium and they leave. But regardless, there is little stopping the cheat software, and people are leaving the game because of that. And the game is becoming more and more infected. That is what I theorize right now is going on with some of the main games in the space today in the FPS genre. And I think that can personally be dealt with by the $60 price tag that we talked about earlier and stuff like that. But we also have to keep in mind that that is not good for every single consumer out there. So what do? What's the solution here? If you're still listening to this recording, please type a YT GOAT. For being a GOAT in it for the long haul, I will select one random comment and announce the winner next video for a gaming hoodie. Now let's wrap up this talk. And I honestly don't know what the solution is. I sit here and I ponder and think about ways in which we can combat this scenario. And a lot of it is on the development side of the game. A lot of it is not beneficial to the actual communities that play the game. And so I think that gaming is going to go down this darker rabbit hole for a little while, as long as we continue to make games that are crossplay. I truly do think, as a person that played from PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, and on a PS5 to this day, that crossplay is a luxury. However, it's a luxury right now that is coming with an extreme cost. PC players might argue that consoles have hacks too, and it's true. I've seen the development for FPS console hacks, but a majority of the instances where this is happening right now is in the PC world. As a PC owner, a mouse and keyboard player, it pains me to say that, but it's 100% true. And if the developers cannot come up with a solution, I worry cheat software has forced players to either deal with it or the developers pull crossplay until we figure out a solution. I would love to hear some of your thoughts down below as well. Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments if you would like. I truly do think that this is a problem that's going to take a village in order to solve it. And the reason why I say that is because I've had people on my friends list that have downloaded EngineOwning and have used it. And I didn't know it for a little while until I started to suspect it. And then when their accounts got banned, I personally, after they made another account, had told them, I really don't want to play right now. Like, I don't want to play for the sake of like the game and the support of, I'll play any other game with you, but I don't want to play that game with you because I know that you're dishonest in that game. So let me know what your thoughts are. If you'd like, leave a like on the video or a dislike. If you think that the content could improve, maybe let me know why, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you, guys.